Hello and welcome to 707. I'm Evan Johnson. I'm in for Daedalus Howell, and today my guest is Ariana Diaz Deleon. And thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you work at the Sonoma State University.
Correct.
You're on the Commission on the Status of Women for the 5th District.
Yes.
Degree in Social Work from Cal State Long Beach, and a mentor for the Puente program.
Correct.
Pretty busy.
Yes, definitely pretty busy, and that's actually become my life in the past year or so. I moved to Santa Rosa last summer, and although I was working at Sonoma State before then, I was commuting from St. Helena, so a lot of my time was taken up by the commute. So I told myself, once I move to Santa Rosa, I'm going to have lots of free time, and I want to fill it up with things that I love to do. So that's how I kind of started taking on things, and now my schedule is full, but I absolutely love it.
So what kind of things do you love to do that you've been keeping busy with?
Well, one of those is the commission. I became a commissioner on the status of women for the 5th District in February, so it wasn't very long ago, but that has really become a big part of my life now. It's a group of 15 women. We have a few open spots right now, so it's about 12 at the moment. But it's a group of women that gets together every month, and we talk about issues that affect women in Sonoma County. So we're trying to improve the lives of women and girls in this county, and we do it through different avenues. We have events. We're actually going to have one that's coming up August 27th, and it's called Women Can Vote. So we're trying to encourage women to come out, register to vote, to also get involved in the community, and to hopefully run for office. We want them to start thinking about that now. We also had 1 Billion Rising, which is a global event, and we did it here locally for the second time as one of the big events that we're putting on.
So the commission, did you have to run for that office, or how did that come about?
It's an appointed position.
Okay.
So each district, there's 5 districts in Sonoma County, each one has 3 seats on the commission. So then you apply for it, there's an actual application, you take it to your supervisor, and then the supervisor for that district reviews it, and the supervisor makes the ultimate decision of whether or not you join. And you join for a period of 2 years. So it's not a long process, but there's definitely a lot of commitment once you get on.
So, okay. So, and a lot of travel as well. I was looking at you a little bit on Facebook to kind of get an idea, okay, so who is this person?
Right.
And what is she doing? What have you been up to? And so how was that trip to DC?
It was amazing. You know, I only went to DC for the first time last summer, and I loved it. But I ended up in DC only for 1 day, and it was a Sunday. So, you know, all those big government buildings were closed, and I got to see them from the outside, but I still wanted to experience quite a bit more. So I took a week this time around, and I went to DC, and it was a great experience. I got to go into the Supreme Court building, sit through a session, hear them give the ruling for the University of Texas case that's come up.
Okay.
So that was quite an experience. All 8 of the justices were there, and I got to hear a few of them talk. I didn't get to hear Justice Sotomayor or Justice Ginsburg talk. They were quiet for the entire time, but it was still a great experience. And I got to see the Congress buildings, the White House. I went to a congressional baseball game where it was the Republicans versus the Democrats, and that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience that I got to have, so I appreciated it.
Who won the game?
The Republicans did,
yeah,
just by a little bit though. It was still a great game. I'm not usually into sports or baseball, but in that game I enjoyed it, so they did a great job.
So you're in DC. Maybe we'll have our first woman president ever.
Yes, yes, hopefully.
How's that going?
You know, that's
excited?
really exciting, really exciting. And not just because she's a woman, but because she's a very capable woman, and a woman who is absolutely qualified for the position. So to me, you know, it's a huge impact because I'm getting to see this, you know, and I really think it's going to be something that people remember, just as they remember when somebody first walked on the moon. You know, it had an impact on people. There were kids who were watching, and they went on to, you know, follow the sciences because it was such a big experience for them. And I'm hoping, I actually think that this is what's going to happen. I think that young girls and young women are going to see her get elected, hopefully, and they're going to be inspired to take on leadership positions and to not dream small, to let themselves, you know, go a little bit bigger.
So is your dream, I mean, going there, tasting DC, you know, smelling it,
right.
Is your dream bigger now then too?
It's very infectious. You know, that's a wonderful city. People are just running around in their suits. They're all involved one way or another politically. And my dream is definitely to stay involved in the community one way or another. I think it's everyone's responsibility to try to make your community a better place. And that means being involved, whether it's volunteering, whether it's running for office, or just, you know, being present and making your voice heard. So I plan to continue that, definitely. Hopefully for the rest of my life. I think it's important, and I want to pass that on to my kids and to everybody that I meet, so that, you know, everyone can participate in that.
Speaking of mentors, then, you're also a part of the Puente program.
Yes.
Can you tell me exactly what that is and
Sure.
what you do with that?
It's a program that's at the Santa Rosa Junior College, and it has different portions to it. They have students go through an English course, also through a Puente course, but a part of it is having mentors, because having a mentor is very important, especially when it's your first year of college. And that program's purpose, it's Puente, which means bridge in Spanish. So the purpose of that is to help the students not just stop at community college, but transfer over to a 4-year college so that they can ultimately get a degree. And so as a mentor, this was my first year being a mentor for that program.
Okay.
And it was a great experience. The young woman that I was paired up with is an intelligent woman who loves to read. She is very curious, and so I was able to have a lot of great conversations with her, where she was able to explore what road I had taken to get where I am. And I was able to talk to her about what goals she has. So it was a great experience, and I plan to continue it this coming year.
Your path went down south, Long Beach.
Yes.
How did that affect you?
You know, it really helped me become independent. I grew up in St. Helena, which is a very small, beautiful town, but it is very sheltered, especially when you don't drive, you know, and when your high school is small and it's just a small area in general. So I wanted to go to college. I wanted to go away to college so that I could learn how to be independent. And it's one of those things where you just go for it, and it is pretty scary, you know, being away from your family, but I absolutely loved it. And I feel like that's when I came into to be the person that I am now. You get all kinds of challenges when you're living away from home, and you have to deal with them on your own. And I think that's what helps you become an adult. And it also helps you explore what you enjoy doing as opposed to what your parents want you to do in your life. So.
And you're sharing that with your mentee.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, we have to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hello and welcome. We're back on 707. I'm with Ariana Diaz Deleon. And so we were touching a little bit on the commission on the status of women, which is what you're a part of, what you're working on, and I kind of wanted to get into the day-to-day of
Sure.
what that means for you.
Absolutely. So the commission meets once a month in a general meeting, the second Thursday of every month, and that's when all the members come together. We go over our agenda, we go over what new things we're going to bring on. And day to day, it's become a bit busier for me because I recently became the vice chair for it. So that entails, you know, a little bit more. We also have officers meetings, and then I'm part of an ad hoc, which is putting together the workshop that we have taking place at the end of August. So that's really been consuming a lot of my time, and I've had great experiences. We've been trying to put together stories of local women in regards to voting, and so I was able to call up a few women, one who just became a citizen and is going to be voting for the first time because she wants to vote against Donald Trump. And I had a great conversation with her. And I also had a great conversation with Maria de Los Angeles, who grew up in Sonoma County and is now in New York as a great artist. So I was able to speak with her. And I also had great conversations with some friends who are undocumented and they can't vote. And it's really frustrating for them to not be able to vote and want to. And then there's people who can vote and they don't take advantage of that. So it's been a lot of great things. The focus right now is on the workshop, but it changes day to day depending on what we're looking at.
The workshop, so there's a variety of workshops.
Well, right now we're just doing that one workshop. And we're also doing tabling. So we go out to the community, we table, try to get people to register. I was at Lola's Market a few weekends ago, and that was a good experience, you know, getting to talk to people in different places and letting them know about the workshop that we're putting on. So it's all building up to this workshop that we have taking place August 27th.
And that's where you canvas and bring in women from the community and give them these skills or help coach them?
That's the goal, yeah. And so we're going to have current women who are in local government, like Susan Gorin, we're going to have her speak, and we're also going to have other people from the community just talk about their experiences getting involved. So it really is, the purpose of it is to have women take that step and feel empowered to be a bigger part of the community and hopefully run for office.
So is that like the one takeaway then that they should walk away with? Or how do you give them that you can do it? Is it a pat on the back, or we're a team here?
I think the biggest thing is listening to other stories of women who have made it, women who have successfully become leaders in the community. Because once you see other women who have made it there, and you hear their story, and you see that it's not the story of a superhero. This is a normal person who just took steps, and they were committed, and they made it there. So I think hearing that, then you realize, oh, that's something that I can do. And it's just humanizing that encourages women to not be afraid, and to go forward with it.
And you're a living example right now.
Right.
So
far,
your way.
yeah.
Making your way. You were telling me before off camera about your mom and the impact that it had of her becoming a citizen here.
Yes.
Can you tell us
Absolutely.
about that?
It was a really great experience for me when I was 7 years old. That's when my mom took her citizenship exam in English, and she passed, and it was huge for her because she only had her education up till 6th grade in Mexico. So, education is not her strength because she never had the opportunity to have that. And so she decided to become a citizen, and I saw how committed she was to studying and to passing the exam. And I got to experience it all with her. And then finally, when it came to take the citizenship, for the oath citizenship, she took it in San Francisco, and our whole family went. We got to see her take the flag, and recite the oath, and it was a very moving moment to get to see her set a goal for herself and get there and then become a citizen, and now she's able to vote, and she's voted ever since. So that was very powerful for me, and it's something that I've always looked up to her because of it.
And taking that one step, she's very motivated and has instilled that in you.
Absolutely.
And your family. I noticed on Facebook also that your grandmother lived to over 100,
yes,
which is incredible. Strong,
right.
tough. And is this kind of the big domino that fell to?
Yeah, she's my father's mother, and she's been also an impactful person in my life. She passed away last year when she was 103, wow. And she had an amazing, amazing life. She went through so much, and she did so much throughout her life. And for me, it was just a huge impact seeing how, even when she was 100 years old, she was still there having conversations with her grandkids, great grandkids, still very much a part of our family. And she was always a pillar for my dad's side of the family. And so it was, it was impactful to see her live that long and have such a big impact on the rest of us.
How about your dad?
My dad, he came from Mexico when he was a teenager. And the purpose of that was to help his siblings, to help his family, who the majority of them were back in Mexico at that time. And I can only imagine how difficult that was, for all of the people that immigrate to the U.S. They leave their family behind, they come to an unknown country where they don't know the language, they don't know the culture, but he was able to adapt very quickly, and he ended up working in St. Helena, first as a field worker, and then he ended up moving on from there, and that became his career. And his work ethic for me has also been something that I've absolutely taken away from my relationship with him, because he has one of the best work ethics that I've ever seen. And he came to this country with the mentality of, succeeding and putting in everything that he absolutely has to be able to get the opportunities that he didn't have in Mexico. So that has also been something that has shaped me into the person that I am.
Let me change it just for a second. How about a superpower? If you could have any kind of superpower, what would it be?
Oh, wow. That is a good question. I think the ability to fly or to appear somewhere else, immediately without having to get in a car and travel or get on a plane. Because there's so much that I would like to fit into a day, especially now that I'm so busy. And if I could just snap my fingers and appear somewhere, it would make things a lot easier for me. And I could get a lot more done, so.
Would you just snap your fingers and go to DC and
yes.
handle business?
Yeah, every night I would do that.
Get around to your different Puente
right.
mentees and help them?
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you have any ambitions to get to DC?
You know, I don't know about getting to DC. I would like to. I haven't discounted the idea of someday running for office. I think that would be very exciting, and that's the ultimate way of serving your community. But I don't know if I would want to do it, you know, at the federal level. Locally, I think, is where you can have the most impact and where you're closest to your constituents. You know, you get to talk to them every day, see what's going on. You get to see the issues that they're talking about instead of just hearing about it over the phone or visiting, you know, once every few months to see what's going on there. So I think just because serving the community is a passion of mine, I think locally is what I would be driven to do. But it still is exciting to see everything that happens in DC. You know, like I said, it's just one of those bright cities where everybody there seems to be wanting to make the world a better place. So.
But go local, that's
right.
Your main deal.
Yes,
Okay. Well, let's take another break and we'll be right back. And this is 707 and we're back. And thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
We were just talking about kind of going local, helping out politically, locally, making an impact. I know that you're working a little bit with Linda Hopkins. Can you tell me a little bit about her? It's
Sure.
a fun fact, maybe.
Yeah, I volunteer on the Linda Hopkins campaign, so sometimes I do some walking. I've done some phone banking, and she's actually been, you know, one of the people that has inspired me to think about running. Because I see how passionate she is about it and how intelligent she is, and I really believe that she can make a change. And she's actually a very down-to-earth person. She's an organic farmer, you know, so one of the things that I've come to realize about her is, you know, she's a farmer. She thinks like a farmer, and so when we have conversations, you know, I'll ask her about her goats. She had just had a goat that passed away, and so that's the kind of stuff that I find interesting. I had never really thought about somebody who was you know, wanting to run for an elected position and being a farmer, because those just don't seem to go together. But with her, they just really fit.
Grassroots.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
Okay. How about a fun fact about Herman G. Hernandez?
Well, Herman is actually, I don't know if he knows this, but he's the person that actually got me to start using social media more.
Okay.
I used to be very shy on social media, and I was very reserved. I would only post a few things here and there. I made a Twitter and then got rid of it. And it was because I felt very exposed on social media. You know, like putting something on Facebook felt like, you know, I was just putting it out to a lot of different people that I didn't necessarily want them to know what I was up to. And he is like addicted to posting on social media. He just puts things up all the time. He has a crazy Sock Saturday thing going on. So that really encouraged me to start putting things up. And then once I joined the commission and once I saw other friends posting up about events, I started seeing the power of using it to promote things that are going on in the community and to really promote it to other individuals who are friends and who perhaps don't get involved. And so then if they see something on there and they say, oh, well, my friend Ariana is going to this, then maybe they'll show up and they'll be encouraged to go. And that's how I find out about a lot of things that are going on in the community. So I've seen it in a different light now. I see it as a way to empower people in the community as opposed to, you know, somewhere where you just say too much about yourself.
Does the commission take advantage of social media?
Yes, we try our best to. And promotion is just something, you know, marketing is a difficult thing. You want as many people as possible to attend your events and you want to reach people. But, you know, you can only do so much. So we do take advantage of Facebook and we try out different things. We try to contact the press and get things out there. But it can be difficult, you know, especially when, you know, within Facebook you try and post things and after a while people are like, oh, it's the same thing as it was before, you know, and they don't pay too much attention to it. But hopefully we're hoping that people do take a look at all those things and all the events that are taking place.
Thinking of your workshops that you mentioned earlier, I was just curious if there, without maybe saying a name, but is there someone who really was a kind of a star who's risen from these workshops? Someone who's really benefited?
Well, this is the first time that we're putting on this workshop, so it hasn't happened before. And so we wanted to really display women in the community who, you know, have gotten somewhere and have done something. So Susan Gorin would be a great example. She, you know, she's supervisor, and that to me has a huge influence in what happens in the county. And it's great to have her as a supervisor, and also Shirley Zane, you know, two powerful women who are leaders and aren't afraid to be leaders. So that, to us, it was really important to have at least one supervisor who's a woman be present there and, you know, be able to speak to other women so that they can hopefully see that it's a possibility and see that it's something that they can also do.
Do you get a lot of support from men?
You know, we do. In the commission, it's just women. But I've never encountered someone, you know, who doesn't appreciate what the commission does or doesn't agree with what we're trying to achieve, what goals we're trying to attain.
How about a personal hero?
Well, one of my personal heroes is the Supreme Court Justice, Sonia Sotomayor. I absolutely admire her because, first of all, she's a very intelligent woman who has gone as far as she can in her career, and she is excellent at it. And one of the things that I really like about her is she didn't place herself into a box. She's a Latina woman, and Latinas get a lot of pressure to follow certain protocols, especially when your family, you know, just immigrated from, for example, Mexico. And they get a lot of pressure, you know, to have a family, have kids. And with her, she knew what she wanted to do. She was determined, and she didn't let herself be put into a box and do what a typical Latina woman is expected, you know. And so she thought about her own dreams and was able to follow those. So I really admire that she didn't let others tell her what to do, and she kind of found her own way.
Get out of the box.
Exactly.
What if you weren't doing all this? What if you were doing something else? What else would you be doing?
You know, well, that's...
Organic farming?
I mean, even if I was somewhere else, I think I'd be involved in the community one way or another, you know, but originally when I went to college, I wanted to be a social worker. So that was my big thing. And then my career took me in other different places, and this is kind of my way. Instead of being a social worker, you know, I still help out. I still help empower people, which is the entire purpose of a social worker. So I think, you know, I could have gone down that route, and that would have been interesting. I'm sure I would have loved it, but, you know, things always don't happen that way.
It sounds like there's been a good amount of success and momentums for you going right now. How about maybe a failure or something you're just like, man, if I could only have done that differently, or get that one back? You
know, one thing I do wish I had done a bit more. Long Beach is a very diverse city that has a lot going on for it. And it's been around for a long time. It's very intimidating in Long Beach, you know, and when I was there, I was mostly just in Cal State Long Beach, so I stayed in my student circle and with my friends. I wish I had reached out a bit more and gotten to know, you know, the city council there, gotten to know some people who were running. I know there were a lot of Latinos there who were, you know, up and coming, and I wish I had made more connections while I was there. And I didn't really realize the power of that until I came here. So I'm glad that I'm doing it now, but I felt like that was something that I missed, and I should have taken more advantage of it while I was there.
Any plans for world travel, or?
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. No plans yet, but I've only been to Canada and Mexico, so I'd like to at some point travel to Europe, maybe Australia, you know, and Asia, different countries. I would like to see the world, but, you know, it takes time and it takes money, and so you kind of have to plan it all out. So I hope it's there for me.
We almost have to wrap up. Can I get the address of the email address, or how can we contact you or contact the commission? You know, I can be contacted through Facebook. So if you just type in my name, Ariana Diaz Deleon, you'll be able to find me. The commission has a website, which is on, if you type in the Sonoma County Commission on the Status of Women, will pop right up. And all the information is on there, the days that we meet, how you can get involved, how you can apply to be a commissioner, what events we're doing, you know, and all of the things that we're involved in. So it can all be found there, and all the contact information is there too. Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I look forward to following your progress. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.